Hey everybody, after recording the main portion of this video, some new information came to light that I feel must be included, so stay tuned for an update at the end of this video. In the last email from Intellivision from about 2.5 months ago, Phil Adams said they were working on a test production run of the Amico, and that they should be done within a few weeks after the email was sent. So according to my math, it should have been done about 57 days ago. He would go on to say that these production units would be shown off and shared with partners, investors, and a select few in the media. Again, in total, this was 78 days ago. I bring this up because of something RetroBro recently said on the Intellivision Amico Open Discussion Discord server. RetroBro, as some of you know, was at one time one of the leaders of the Pro Amico YouTubers and had some direct communication with Intellivision leadership. So when he mentioned the following as a follower of this interesting Amico saga, I myself was very curious what he had to say, and this is what he had to say. And I quote, "Last I heard was they paid for 25 units to be built in-house to go out to YouTubers. Phil told me that in February. I would have gotten one. They paid for parts out of their own pockets. From my understanding, it was about $25,000 to build units themselves to send to influencers. That's the units Phil was talking about in his email. If they order 25, it's the only units that will ever see the light of day. The plan was to get them into these people's hands, have them stream, do safe reviews, etc. to attract new investors. Anyone with sense has walked away. The only people who are still on have been promised stuff." He would go on to mention two other hardcore Pro Amico YouTubers by name who continue to support the system, that they were also promised systems, and a third who was at one point being considered to be hired as an employee for Intellivision. If what RetroBro says is true, it could explain two things. First of all, what Intellivision's potential last-ditch plan is. Having these 25 systems hand-built, sent to safe reviewers who are likely to give the system glowing reviews in an attempt to attract new investors to get them the money they probably need to mass manufacture. Now, it's possible that this never happens. Hand-building systems might be easier said than done, and if built, several bugs or issues could arise, making them unpresentable, not to mention the fact that they haven't passed FCC testing the last I heard. Or that Intellivision could simply go out of business or enter bankruptcy at any moment. But this plan does sound, at the very least, plausible. The second thing it could explain is why a select few YouTubers still continuously show unwavering faith for Intellivision and the Amico while easily dismissing critics and legitimate concerns, despite the fact that Intellivision has continuously failed to meet any deadlines or shown anything of substance after spending over 4 years in development and raising over $17 million. I mean, if 25 units do get produced for $17 million total, in a way you could say that each unit costs $680,000 to make, and that would be quite the reward for a faithful supporter of the system. Now again, this is just a rumor I found interesting and may never happen. And just because someone says they like the Amico on YouTube doesn't mean they were promised anything. At one time I was excited for the system too, but if quote-unquote production units show up in certain YouTubers' hands, which by the way I would call these prototypes, then maybe the plan RetroBro was told came to fruition. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you RetroBro for the info, and I will see you next time. Update. Okay, so a couple of things came to light today. First, on Amico Forever, host DJC claimed that he had talked to Intellivision, and this is what he had to say.
So I did reach out to Intellivision. They are hoping to have an announcement update for you guys within this week, at the most maybe a couple weeks, and they got some very good things happening. It'll be good news, and they what they're doing is, obviously, like we know, they're trying to work tirelessly at these production units to get out to those 25, like they said in the email.
Did you hear that? He specifically said 25 units, like they said in the email. But Intellivision didn't give a specific number in the email. It sounds like he heard the same thing that RetroBro heard. So unless this 25 number was said publicly by Intellivision, which I don't believe it was, but please correct me if I'm wrong, this further solidifies RetroBro's story. RetroBro even reiterated the story tonight on his first Anti-Amico After Dark episode on his RetroBro Reloaded channel. and even said more Pro Amico supporters were promised test systems that they could try out and report back to Intellivision with. This leads me to believe that what RetroBro has said holds water, but in his stream he also pointed out that Intellivision could be simply saying stuff to supporters just to buy more time yet again until they get more investors. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Time will tell.